He forgot his wallet, so I drove to his office and found him in a robe with my sister. He said, "We didn't mean for it to happen. But now that it has, I didn't cry. I left, filed charges for fraud, and the next day they were both." I'm not dramatic. I never have been. I'm the type of person who handles things quietly, especially when I'm mad. My way of dealing with betrayal isn't yelling or crying or throwing stuff out a window. I don't make a scene. I get quiet, I think, and then I act. My name's Tasha. I'm 38, from Asheville, North Carolina. I've been married to Lance for 6 years. We didn't have a fairy tale marriage, but we had a routine. We shared bills, made dinner together, sometimes bickered about stupid stuff like laundry or who left dishes in the sink. I thought that was normal. I thought we were fine. It was my sister who ruined that idea. Danielle is 4 years younger than me. She's the fun one, always was. Even growing up, she was the wild child. I was the one who followed rules. Danielle was the one who snuck out, smoked in high school bathrooms, crashed cars, and begged me not to tell Mom. And I didn't. I protected her, even when she didn't deserve it. Last month she called and said she was moving back from Raleigh. Said she wanted to be near family again. Said she needed a place to stay, just for a week or two. She didn't have a job lined up. She didn't even have an apartment. She showed up with 2 suitcases and a laundry basket full of junk and just moved in. Lance acted chill about it. A little too chill looking back now. Said she was family, said it would be kind of fun to have her around for a bit. She was sleeping in our guest room, borrowing my clothes, using my shampoo, taking over my kitchen like she owned it. I'd get home from work and find her drinking wine on the couch in one of my robes, scrolling through her phone like she had no plans of leaving. But I still didn't see it. Then Thursday happened. I was working from home that day. Lance texted around 10:30 a.m. "Forgot my wallet. Can you bring it to the office before lunch?" Nothing weird about that, except for the fact that he rarely forgot stuff like that. Still, I said okay. He didn't mention Danielle. I assumed she was at the house watching Netflix or something. I went upstairs to grab his wallet. It was on the nightstand next to his watch. When I picked it up, I noticed he'd taken the cologne I gave him last year, the fancy one in the square glass bottle. He never wore that unless it was some big client meeting or a fancy date. I remember thinking, weird. The drive to his office took maybe 15 minutes. He works in this older building near downtown Asheville, a few blocks from Pack Square. There's no front desk, just a waiting area and a hallway of private offices. He shares the place with 2 other agents, but one of them was out sick and the other was out on a showing. His door was cracked. I knocked lightly and pushed it open. The first thing I saw was his shirt on the floor. Then I saw her. Danielle was sitting on his desk, laughing, hair wet, wrapped in a towel, like she'd just stepped out of a shower. And Lance? He was wearing my robe. The white one with lace I bought for our anniversary trip to Hilton Head. At first, none of us said a word. It was like time just paused. Danielle's smile disappeared. She slid off the desk. Lance didn't even try to cover up. He just looked at me, annoyed almost, like I had interrupted his day. Then he spoke. "We didn't mean for it to happen," he said. "But now that it has, that was all I needed to hear." I didn't scream. I didn't throw his wallet. I didn't punch Danielle in the face, though I wanted to. I just stared at both of them for a second, dropped the wallet on the desk, and walked out. I heard him say my name as I walked down the hallway. I didn't stop. I got in my car and just sat there. My hands were shaking. My stomach turned in knots, but my face stayed dry.
No te ars.
Just a fire in my chest. And then I remembered the credit card charges. See, the weird thing is, I'd already had suspicions before I walked in on them. About a month earlier, I started seeing charges on our joint card that didn't make sense. Hotel bookings in Charlotte. Fancy restaurants I'd never been to. Jewelry stores. One time, I saw a $1,200 charge listed as consulting. I'd asked Lance. He brushed it off, said it was for a client he was trying to impress. But something didn't sit right. So, I did what he didn't think I'd do. I made copies. I printed out 3 months of statements. I called a couple of the hotels. One of them confirmed the reservation. The second guest?
Danielle.
Her name was on file. Still, I waited. I didn't confront him. I wanted to be sure. And now I was. I drove straight to the courthouse, filed for a legal separation. Then I went to the sheriff's office and filed charges for credit card fraud. Because one of the cards, the one he used for most of the spending, he'd opened it using my social security number. I only found out when a collections agency called asking about an overdue balance. He used my name to fund a secret affair with my sister. That night, I packed 2 bags, grabbed my laptop, and moved into my cousin's guest room. I turned off my phone. I didn't look at a single text from either of them. The next morning, I got a call from the deputy assigned to the case. Danielle had been picked up. Turns out she had 2 outstanding warrants in Wake County, petty theft and a probation violation. They'd been trying to track her down for weeks. When I filed charges and listed her address as our home, that gave them the green light. Lance got picked up too. Fraud, identity theft, misuse of funds. He was arrested at the office, in front of his coworkers and a couple who had just signed a rental agreement. My cousin's boyfriend filmed it.
Send it to me.
In the video, Lance's hair was messy, his shirt half-tucked, and the cops were telling him to put his hands behind his back. It was better than any movie I'd ever seen. But that was just the start. There's still more to tell. When people say revenge is a dish best served cold, they forget something. It also takes time. Getting them arrested felt good. I won't lie. But it didn't fix everything. It didn't make the mess go away. After the charges, the fallout came quick. Lance's boss, the broker who ran the real estate office, called me. He wasn't just mad. He was furious. Apparently, Lance had been misusing the office credit card too, booking hotel rooms and calling them client expenses. That was a company card. It wasn't supposed to be for personal use. The broker fired him on the spot. Danielle lost whatever little future she had lined up. She was supposed to have a job interview at a local vet clinic the following week. I'd even printed her resume for her. That clinic? It was owned by my old college roommate. I made one phone call and told her everything. Danielle didn't get the job. And word spread fast. Asheville's not a big city. People talk. Especially in real estate. Especially when it's a scandal. But even with all that damage, I still had to deal with the worst part. The lies Lance told in court. I found out during the fraud investigation that he had taken out not 1, but 2 credit cards using my information. One of them had a $9,000 balance. And because he'd been making minimum payments, it hadn't flagged immediately on my credit report. He claimed I knew about the cards. Told the investigator that I'd approved the spending. That we were in an open marriage and the purchases were part of our arrangement. When I heard that, I laughed out loud. Then I got quiet again. That kind of quiet that makes people nervous. He was trying to cover his own ass. And throw me under the bus to do it. I called my lawyer. We filed a motion to bring everything to civil court too. I wanted every dollar he spent in my name accounted for. I wanted him to feel it. But it got worse. A week after his arrest, I got an email from my landlord. A copy of a lease renewal form. It had my signature on it. Except, I never signed it. Lance had forged my name. He extended our lease by another year behind my back. Probably so he could keep the house after I left. I called the landlord and explained everything. Sent proof of my legal separation, the police report, even a copy of my ID and signature so they could compare. The landlord canceled the lease. Said Lance had 30 days to vacate. Now, here's the thing. I had already moved out. But I still had keys. And I had the right to enter the property under state law since my name was still technically on file. So I made a decision. I waited until I knew he was gone. Back at his parents' place, licking his wounds, probably trying to spin the story. Then I went back to the house. And I took everything that was mine. Every plate. Every towel. Every pan. Every light bulb I had bought. I even took the shower curtain. Petty? Maybe. But I didn't care. He'd earned it. Danielle had left some stuff behind too. A suitcase. A pink purse. a makeup bag. I donated it all to Goodwill. Didn't even open it. Didn't care. A week later, Lance texted me. Can we talk? I didn't respond. Then another. Please. I made a mistake. I miss you. Still, I said nothing. So he tried again. This time with a voicemail. I listened just once. He sounded tired. Said he was sorry. Said he didn't mean for it to go this far. Said Danielle manipulated him. That it started as a joke. That he was in a dark place and didn't know how to stop. But here's the twist. Danielle wasn't staying with him anymore. She got out on bond. Moved into a cheap motel on Tunnel Road. Word got back to me that she and Lance had a fight after court. Something about money, something about blame. She accused him of ruining her life. He called her a liar and said she dragged him down with her. So much for soulmates. They turned on each other fast. And I used it. I called the DA's office and told them I had new info. Asked if they were interested in Danielle's side of the story. Said I was willing to testify if needed. Turns out, they already had Danielle's statement. She blamed everything on Lance to cut a deal. Said he manipulated her. Said she didn't know the credit cards were fake. Said he promised to leave me and get a place with her and that he never followed through. He told the court it was her idea. She told the court it was his. They were tearing each other apart to save themselves. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding. I moved into a new apartment. Took a promotion at the hospital. Started going to therapy once a week. I still wasn't okay, but I was getting there. And I wasn't done yet. There was still one more twist I was working on. And it was going to ruin everything they had left. A month after everything started, I found something else. I was organizing my old emails, cleaning up digital clutter, trying to move forward. That's when I noticed a forwarded message from Lance's email. It was sent to my Gmail 6 months ago, back when we were still fine. At first, I almost deleted it without reading. But the subject line caught me. FWD, short-term rental agreement, Asheville bungalow. I opened it. It was a PDF from some rental management company I'd never heard of. A 2-month lease on a small cottage near Biltmore Village. Rental term, December 3rd through February 1st. Monthly cost, $2,700. I stared at it. We never stayed there. We never rented it. I called the number on the lease and asked if I could confirm a past tenant. I pretended I was with a mortgage lender doing background checks. The lady was nice. She said, "Oh, yeah, Lance Preston? He and his girlfriend stayed there most weekends. Quiet folks. Left the place spotless." That's when the timeline hit me. He had been seeing Danielle for months. Not just behind my back, but right in town. Renting a bungalow with her, living a double life, while coming home to me like everything was normal. I felt sick. I went back to the credit card statements and pieced it together. Every charge I thought was a client dinner or hotel for work. Most of them were connected to that cottage. They'd lived there like a married couple for 2 months while I was still doing his laundry and thinking we were saving up for a cruise. So I took a copy of the lease, the bank records, and printed it all out in one clean PDF. I sent it to the investigator handling the fraud case. I also forwarded it to the landlord of that cottage, just in case Lance or Danielle tried using them again. Then I did something else. I created a fake profile on a real estate investor forum under the name Carolina Truth. I posted detailed reviews of working with Lance Preston. Shared anonymous client stories about how he handled funds poorly, misused trust, and violated client confidentiality. I never said anything slanderous. I just told the truth. Everything I could prove. It spread. Other investors started commenting. Some said they'd heard rumors. One even admitted she once hired Lance for a property search, and he flaked halfway through. The damage wasn't huge yet, but it was enough that his name started looking bad online. His business reputation was crumbling, and I hadn't even touched the personal side yet. But I would. Danielle made it easy. She started dating again. Or, at least trying to. I found her Tinder profile one night when I was swiping with a friend. She had a fake name, Ellie. Same photos. Same pouty face. Same tattoos. I swiped right. We matched. She messaged first. Hey there, smiley face. I waited a full day before I answered. Then I replied, Hi Danielle. It's Tasha. She unmatched me immediately. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. The next day, I posted screenshots on a private Facebook group for local women called WNC Dating Watch. I gave a warning about her fake profile, her real name, her past, and the fact she had open charges in 2 counties. They tore her apart in the comments. She tried reporting the post. The admins told her to take it up with the court system. Still, I wasn't finished. I still had one last piece to play. One thing neither of them knew I had. See, back when Danielle first moved in with us, I'd set up a shared folder on our home network to make it easier to share music and files.
She used my laptop a lot.
She wasn't careful. She didn't realize that sometimes when you drag a file into a folder, it stays copied even if you delete it later. And inside that folder was a video. It was saved under a generic name, MOV_1041, like it came straight from a phone. When I clicked it, I almost closed it out. But then I saw her face.
Danielle.
In my bedroom, sitting on the edge of my bed, Lance was holding the phone, laughing. They weren't just messing around. They were mocking me. Danielle said, Tasha still thinks he loves her. Lance laughed and replied, I do, in a way. Like you love a dog you can't bring yourself to put down. My stomach dropped. I watched it twice, just to make sure I heard it right. Then I saved it in 3 places: USB, cloud, hard drive. Because that video? That was going to be the nail in the coffin. And I hadn't even begun to use it. After I found that video, the one of them in my bedroom, mocking me like I was some clueless joke, I sat at my desk for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I just watched it over and over again, until every word burned into my memory. I wasn't going to release it yet. I needed the perfect time, the perfect audience. And I knew just who that was.
Lance's parents.
They always loved me. I used to spend Thanksgiving at their house, helped clean up after dinners, sent his mom flowers on her birthday. His dad once told Lance, Don't screw this up. Tasha's the best thing that's ever happened to you. I still had his mom's number. I texted her, asked if I could come by, said I had something to show her and Mr. Preston. She told me to come over that afternoon. When I arrived, they looked confused and tired. His mom hugged me tight. She asked if the rumors were true. I didn't answer. I just opened my laptop and played the video. I didn't say a word. They watched the whole thing. Every second. The sound of Danielle laughing. Lance's voice, smug and cruel. The way they said my name like it was dirt under their shoes. His mom covered her mouth. His dad just stared straight ahead. When the video ended, I said, I thought you deserved to know who your son really is. Then I closed the laptop, thanked them for their time, and left. That night, I got a call from Lance. I didn't answer. Then his dad called. He left a voicemail. You were right to walk away.
I'm sorry.
He's no son of mine right now. It felt final. But I wasn't done. The fraud case moved fast. With all the evidence I gave them, the bank records, the lease, Danielle's statement, the forged documents, the DA pushed for a plea deal. Lance avoided jail time, but he got slapped with 5 years probation, had to pay back every cent he spent under my name, nearly $27,000. And now has a fraud charge on his record that will haunt every job application for the rest of his life. He lost his real estate license. He can't get bonded anymore. He tried applying for work at a car dealership 2 towns over. Word got around. They turned him away.
Danielle?
She took the deal too. 30 days in county jail, a year of probation and community service. Her mugshot ended up on a local Facebook news page. Someone screenshotted it and posted it in that same WNC Dating Watch group. Comments exploded. She tried to come back to Asheville. No one would rent to her. She ended up back in Raleigh, living with a friend of a friend. I heard from someone she was working at a vape shop under a fake name. I didn't care enough to check. But here's where my twist comes in. Even after all of it, I wasn't clean either. See, during this mess, I realized something. I let myself get comfortable. I saw signs. I brushed them off. I let people take advantage of me because it was easier than facing the truth. That video? That was my wake-up call. So I sold everything that reminded me of them. Furniture, photos, clothes.
Gone.
I used the restitution money from Lance to take a trip by myself. Flew to Colorado. Hiked alone. Sat on a frozen lake and screamed until I couldn't feel my throat. And when I came back, I started my own business. HR consulting. Small companies.
Local clients.
Word of mouth spread quick because people knew my name, knew my story. I didn't hide it. I told people exactly what I went through. How I cleaned up my own mess. How I fought back without throwing punches. One of my first clients? A real estate group. They had just fired their broker for fraud and poor ethics. The guy they fired? Lance's old boss. He asked if I wanted to speak at their next conference. I gave a 45-minute talk on how to spot red flags in business relationships. I stood on that stage, in heels I bought with his restitution money, and I told a room full of people how I almost let a liar take everything from me. But I didn't, because I kept my receipts. I paid attention. And when the time came, I ended them with truth. Lance sent me one last message a few months ago. It said, "You win." He was wrong.
There were no winners in this story.
Only survivors. And the people who learned the hard way, don't mess with someone who has nothing left to lose. And all the proof. The truth destroyed them better than I ever could.
And now?
I sleep like a rock. Alone. Peaceful.
Whole.